Hi, all you SPMEs out there. Today's question has 3 answers, and you're going to want to stick around because the third answer is a secret as to what your readers actually want when it comes to Kindle self-publishing. So let's get into it. The question that was sent in to me today was self-publishing with Kindle? Now, the person who asked this question is wondering a little bit about maybe Kindle may be right for you. You're an author, you've got your first book, or you're working on your very first book, and you're wondering in your mind, is Kindle the right choice for you? But it's not completely clear. Maybe it is good and maybe it is bad. And one of the things that I've seen an awful lot of authors wonder about, it is that if you come out with your Kindle book and you're selling it in the range that Amazon wants you to sell the book at, that's between $2.99 and $9.99, you're wondering if when you have a book selling for $20 or $50, why would anybody buy such an expensive paperback book when they could just get your Kindle book? And you're worried your sales are going to go down because of this Kindle book. So it would be, as some people would call it, cannibalizing your sales, where one of your products means the other, they won't have to get your more expensive one, and that will then destroy a lot of the revenue that you're making. So maybe the correct choice is not to go with Kindle self-publishing. But that is what we're going to answer today. This is Chris Baird from selfpublishingmadeeasynow.com. Click the subscribe button and help me out to create more videos like this one. And check out below in the description and you will find my absolutely free self-publishing checklist to make sure you are not skipping any of the very important steps when it comes to self-publishing. So let's get into it. Let me tell you a little bit about my story. When I first got started, I started with also wondering whether or not I should go straight to the Kindle side or the paperback side. Now, I did end up choosing the Kindle side, but I also understood that if I do the Kindle, I would make less money unless I was making a lot of sales on the Kindle. And so that was a little bit of a thing because I did not wish to have this very situation of undercutting my own sales by simply having a cheap version of my book available that people could grab. Also, if it's digital, can't they just make copies of it and put it all over the internet for free? So these were a couple of the concerns that I was worried a little bit about, that these could happen, and then suddenly I find myself not making any money on my books. These were a few of the things that I was thinking about, but the problem was I had completely missed a very critical aspect of Kindle, which I have not discussed on this channel previously. Because the thing is that I ran across the idea, which was if you're putting out multiple formats, the Kindle version serves a completely different purpose. Because as somebody had pointed out to me, who was one of the mentors that I'd had previously, they said that if you use the Kindle version, something important to remember is it will have the /through price on it based upon the paperback version, showing it 90% off or whatever, and then the Kindle version's price right there. So somebody may come in who's interested in your book in the beginning, and they will look at that Kindle price that you're putting out there and say, wow, this is really marked down, so it's a good deal. And so those people would then maybe purchase the Kindle version. Now, some people like to have both the Kindle and the paperback version or an audio version. So, and if you have an audio version of your book out, well, then it will give them the option of maybe purchasing the Kindle version at a discount. When you put it out, you can make that as an option, which I would highly recommend, so that the person who gets the audio version will then also give you an additional sale with your Kindle version. Okay? But whatever the case is, what I discovered was that all of my versions, the sales started to go up each time I had more options available. And that was a couple of reasons. One is they would see that, well, who would create a book in 5 different formats if the book weren't quality? So it has an impact on the selling point of the book that it's a quality book, because why otherwise would you go through the process? Except for one little thing which they're not fully aware of, which is that the process isn't very difficult. It's actually very easy, and that's what I try to do on this channel, is to break it down. Not to overwhelm you, but to take things very slowly, one day at a time, and see how far you can come. Okay? And so, but I discovered all sales increased, but how exactly was that even possible? But let's get into the answers today regarding this Kindle issue here. The answer is your Kindle book, it drives traffic to the paperbacks. In fact, some people would even go as far to say it is its primary purpose is to sell paperback books. But you might be thinking, if they can get the Kindle book so much cheaper, why would they even bother with the paperback? And the answer is, it's that most people who purchase those paperbacks, they don't want a Kindle book. And the people who like Kindle books do not want paperback versions. And some people like hardback, and some people like to get it in on a different website than Amazon. And so they would want their digital versions there or their paper versions. Or some people like it in audiobook, so ACX Audible. And so you have all of these people mixed together who have it in their particular thing. And as I mentioned previously, your paperback price is going to serve as an anchor point so that when they see that drop in price, that slash through on the previous price, and which is what they will see on your Kindle books, they'll see, wow, this is 80% reduced. I better grab it while it's still on sale. But in reality, it's always going to be down that much because they simply take your paperback price and put the slash through and then show you your Kindle price. It also increases sales on Amazon, so they make more money and you also make more money. But if you hadn't had both, you wouldn't get that. And at the same time, once they see that Kindle on sale, maybe they're going to read the description and they're going to flip through the pages and only to discover this is definitely a book you want to buy. And as a result, they're going to then say, and since I want to buy it, maybe I will just go for the paper version. But it was the Kindle version that pulled them into the ecosystem of your sales page. Because remember, a big mistake a lot of self-publishers make is they don't understand. They think that somebody goes there wanting to buy your book. In reality, they go there because they're curious and they want to read the sales page or some of that information to give them enough information to know if it is worth investing in this book. And if it looks like it might be cheaper, it looks like it might be reliable based on the different formats, and they see it's marked down, that will then pull them into the next phase. They're not ready to buy yet. They're ready to read the sales page or maybe flip through the book, which they can do also. And when the Kindle book is available there, that they're going to have that as an option to make sure that maybe this is a book that is worth their time in checking out. So that's also another key issue you're going to want to focus on. But the secret answer of today is that people want books in the format they want them. So some people are Kindle readers. I am a Kindle reader and an audiobook reader. I particularly prefer audiobooks in one way, but when I'm reading fiction, I love to read on the Kindle because it's actually important for your brain and your eyes to pull it together in the decoding process to become a better reader. Doing both audiobooks and doing Kindle books are very, very powerful. And also, the Kindle books are a lot cheaper. I can have at any time on my phone, I have how many books do I have? I have got maybe 20 to 30 Kindle books that are in the order of the books that I'm going to be reading up next. And so if I go on vacation or go someplace where I don't have internet, like in the cabins of Norway, deep into the high country, then I'm going to want to have that availability to be able to have those books with me as I'm on my trip without carrying around a bunch of paperback books. Plus, I don't want them taking up space in my house. The whole Marie Kondo and decluttering and all of this sort of stuff is actually very powerful. So I don't own any paper books. I get rid of them as quickly as possible. I have no desire to have any paper books, including my own books that I've come out with. I do not have or own any of them. They're all digital. So that's the way that I personally. But the people who do like the paperbacks, they really like the paperback. So if you have a Kindle version only, they're not going to buy it. And the same with the hardback and the audiobooks. So make sure that when you're putting your books out there, you have it in as many formats as possible. But do not do everything at once. You will have overwhelm and will accomplish nothing. So instead, start with the Kindle first and then go to your KDP paper print version, your paperback version. And then we can go from there and continue to expand outward as we go book after book in different formats. So I hope you found that a little bit helpful. This was just some of my thoughts on that. But tell me, have you been worried about undercutting your sales by coming out with a Kindle book? If you have been worried about this Kindle issue, write the word yes below in the comments. And if you've never been worried, you've always known this was a good deal, then write the word no below in the comments. And that will really help me out. And I can also help you out better that way as well. But speaking of that, check out right above me here for more video answers to your self-publishing questions. Thanks.